Good morning, everyone, or good evening, wherever you are. Whew, decided I found a fun topic. I decided I wanted to stream about it. And woke up early with all this energy bursting on this topic. And you may notice that the thumbnail of the stream it was called Rate. Let me just show it to you. I find it here. Where is it? Thumbnails. It features Harrison Ford. And the theme was of the thumbnail. Let's see if this works here. Is it showing? I don't. Well, okay, let's see if we can figure that out. I definitely want you to see what's happening. Okay, where's my music? We got to get that too. It is not a normal scene without music. Music. There we go. There we go. And let me try my alternate way of changing things. Okay, here we go. So yeah, it's called Raiders of the Lost Tab. And I like to do what I call archaeology. You know, normally I do software archaeology of all kinds. I like to dig in and figure out, and also sort of, you know, things that have to do with words, etymology. I like to figure out how we got to where we are and uncover the history and the development of ideas and concepts and things, right? So today we're going to do some tablet archaeology. Thus, I picked Harrison Ford. Let's see if this thing will work finally. Oh, no, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Okay. There we go. So I picked Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Hi, Slush Pup. Yeah, well, this should be very interesting. We're going to cover some topics. Again, the theme is, it's actually Wacom history, right? And about this thumbnail, this is, I don't know if Wacom still uses this logo, but you notice there are all these like bright, shiny lights on it. I think tablet expert Cube built this. And the title of this, his design here is Biblically Accurate Wacom. So I just thought that fit the theme. So here's what we're gonna do. Now, Wacom, I think, was it last year, had their 40th anniversary. Okay, so they've been in the industry 40 years. And I was chatting to somebody recently about drawing tablets, because this person was interested in the general topic of styluses. And he had been talking to people in the USI world, etc., and knew a lot. But I don't think he had encountered too many people that had knowledge about EMR that were not, you know, in the industry. I'm just a fan, right? So I told him some years ago there was an NHK, meaning it was a Japanese television station or a broadcaster, had published kind of a documentary on the history of Wacom. Now, it was really interesting. It had some surprising facets to it. And I wanted to go deeper into that topic. We have Wacom on their anniversary, their 40th anniversary. They published a kind of timeline. So we're going to look at that timeline, but we're going to supplant that with some extra information. And the extra information actually comes from Wikipedia, but not the English Wikipedia, the Japanese Wikipedia. Because the Wacom description, I mean, this is kind of I think this is actually somewhat true. The the English version of Wikipedia has an article, let's say that's, you know, this long for Wacom. But the Japanese article is like really long. I mean, it's detailed about things, trust me, that would surprise you. Things are mentioned there that will absolutely blow your mind. Hi, Live Big. Thanks for joining us. So, now there are some topics in that Wikipedia article they're just weird. And I'm not going to discuss those deeply. You're going to see them on the screen. I am not going to discuss them. It'll be very obvious why I don't discuss them. Okay, it'll be very obvious. Because I want to stick to the technology and the development of the technology. That's what I'm about. And I am going to save the Wikipedia article just in case it gets modified later. Who knows? Okay. So, let's begin by just showing you the English language Wikipedia article for Wacom. And I'm going to take notes, okay? I'm going to take notes so that we are able to come up with our own timeline, okay? And I guarantee you things will surprise you. Even that weird topic, which I'm not going to talk about, there are things in this stream which are going to surprise you. You're going to be like, I had no clue this is how we got drawing tablets. Okay, I mean, you're just gonna be like stunned. Probably, how can I say this? Cube, tablet expert Cube has read this article. In fact, he has told me about the article many times, but I have never really like read it. Last night, couldn't get to sleep, so I started reading it, and I was like, wow, this is actually fascinating. Fascinating. So, okay, let's see. First of all, let's open up a Wikipedia page. Wikipedia. And I'm just gonna type in Wacom, okay? Now don't worry, we're gonna find some resources. And let me close this and move this. I think we'll just do it like this for a while. Okay. So I'll just type in Wacom here. Okay, so this is the English version, English language version of. Now I'm just gonna scroll down just so you see how long the article is. Okay. It's, I don't know, it's pretty quick before it gets to the references. Okay. It's not a detailed article at all. It is not. Okay. I'm going to get to the Japanese version in a second, but let's see. Wacom published a 40th anniversary blog post. Okay. I believe this was it. Yeah. So we're going to keep this up because we're going to cross-reference this. Now, this is a relatively long, that's their CEO, by the way, Nobu Ide. Cool guy, super cool guy. And, oh, look at that's an old Wacom logo. That's the one I'm used to, actually, from the past. Oh, someone pinged me on Discord. Let me just make sure I... okay. That was Koyo. I'll reply to him. Okay. Pat Tot. It should be. It should be. By the way, ask me, what was it, last night or the day before we did Canvas, Huion Canvas 22 Gen 3, which I love. It's right in front of me, by the way, so if you want me to talk about it, I'm more than happy, but right now I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So this is their 40th anniversary, and then we're gonna find, give me a second. Now remember, I don't speak Japanese. Lots of you do not speak Japanese. Let's see, Wikipedia. Hi up, Croker. One up, Croker. Good to see you. Appreciate that you joined the stream. Where is the... Okay. So I'm going to load up the Japanese one. Now it's in Japanese, but Google translates it. Okay, now I'm just gonna scroll down this page just so you see how long this article is. Okay. Scrolling, 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 scrolling. Long history, affiliated. Okay, can you see how far I have to scroll to get to the end of the article? The English article is nowhere near this long, okay? So we are going to, let's get this tab here as well, okay? Now, just for reference, I'm going to put these links in the chat. Oh, thank you, Croker. I'm glad you appreciated that Huion Canvas 22 review. Okay, did I not? Okay, so I'm going to paste in the Wikipedia article for Wacom. This is the English language version. I'm going to paste in the, again, it's in Japanese, so you're going to have to, if you don't speak Japanese or read it, you're going to have to use Google Translate. Or whatever your browser translate is. Okay, and that's the Japanese one next. And then here is their 40th anniversary blog post. And while I'm at it, I already told the Discord crew what I'm doing, but they may not actually understand. Am online now and about to dive deep into the history of Wacom based on its Japanese Wikipedia article. I spelled now, N-W-O. Let me give them the live stream link again. Holy grammar. Paste. And of course, you know, I made every spelling error possible in that comment. Okay. Okay. New World Order. Okay. And then I gotta do one more thing, is I'm gonna have to create, or not create, I wanna get to my show notes, because we're gonna take notes, okay? And we're gonna archive things. Who knows what kind of controversy this stream is going to initiate in people's minds. Okay. 2026, what is the date? Today is the 9th of March. 9th of March. Wacom Archeology. New World Order. I love using the word archaeology. Okay. And what do I need to do now? Okay. I am going to go to archive. Is it archive.org or archive.is? I think it's archive.org. And I'm going to archive that Wikipedia article. I know they store all revisions, but I want a clear place where I see what today's revision was, okay? Is this it? Let's check here. Okay, it looks like it is backed up, so I don't have any worries. There are snapshots all over the place. Okay, good. Now, and let's start bring my show notes up here. So this is our March 9th archaeology, Wacom Archeology. Okay. I might look at the English language article, but we're going to start with their 40th anniversary blog post. And we're going to correlate this with, you know, what the Japanese article says. So 40 years of history. Okay. And what the heck? What is wrong with this thing? The blog post is completely messed up. Tablet archaeology. Oh my gosh, you know what? I just realized. Speaking of tablets, someone made a comment, and someone made a comment about, where is this? Okay, this is kind of funny. I'm going to show you something, a meme, I guess. And someone said, you know, we were talking about people having two tablets, like a pen display and a pen tablet. Okay. I'm going to check the archive, Fluffy Tube Socks, and we'll see if there's, we can find it. Good to see you, by the way. Good to see you. And I said, well, even Moses had two tablets, which I thought I was being very clever by saying that. And I followed it up with this picture. Let's just see if I can show it to you. Hang on. Yeah, and before anyone asks, yes, I did ask. I took my photos of these two boxes and a still from the 10. I believe this is the 10 Commandments that's Charlton Heston, and I said put these two products in his hands as the tablet. So I thought it's quite appropriate. Moses on this mountain with two tablets. Okay. Anyway, not to get religious on you, but I just thought it was funny. Okay. You know, I'll put that on my Twitter. I live that right now, as a matter of fact. I think it deserves to be. Let's just see. I'll get back. Someone will be angry at me for using religious iconography, I'm sure, but you can't live your life hoping no one is going to get upset with what you do. As they say, them's just jokes. Them's just jokes. Hi, random dev blogs. Let's post this on my Twitter. Hang on. Or X. Copy image. Even Moses. I got his. Even Moses had two. Moses had two tablets. Not an endorsement of any religion. Just okay. I'm gonna post it on my Twitter. X. Let's just see if anyone notices. Yes, it's all AI. Let's just make sure I didn't do anything. I just whatever. Okay. You like those two streams? Random devlogs. By the way, good to see you here. Slushpup says, I was drawing while watching this, and I have both XP Pen tablet and a Samsung Galaxy Tab as drawing tablet. I think, by the way, I'm now up to 109. Is that right? Yeah, 100. I think I have 109 drawing tablets. You're from Japan? Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. You may add a bit of context then that we do not. Please feel free. I'm going to be watching for you to feel free to tell us when there's something we've gotten wrong or I misinterpreted. Okay? And I just want to make sure people know this. I love Wacom. I don't want there to be any confusion. Okay? I want people to understand. I love Wacom. Yes, I have my criticisms of Wacom, but I genuinely, I have a lot of emotional love for them because I've used their products for, over 30 years. So that's there. Okay. So I can't believe this is all busted though. This is so bad. Let's see if the Wayback Machine has a copy of this. Okay. By the way, I just want people to see. So Wacom's name in Japanese, which is pronounced very slightly differently, is these three words or letters or whatever they're called. I think it's beautiful. I want a t-shirt with these three symbols on them. I think it looks beautiful. I don't think I appreciated that before. Okay, let's see if random dev blogs. Any updates on 1927 Tiltcom session? I have to double check. I remember the 19 being very good. I don't have a 27 to test. Okay, they don't have it. That's sad. That's sad. Okay, maybe we'll figure it out. This is so bad. Okay. We'll just start with the Wikipedia article. Okay. And I'll take notes. Okay. So, and we're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about business stuff too. Okay? Because there is things to talk about. We're going to talk about other kinds of devices. You're going to see some strange things in here. Okay? Now, I'm going to skip over the overview because we're just going to sort of do it in time sequence. Okay? And we're going to explore what's going on. So, at the beginning, in the beginning, I love this. This is so it's like related to the Moses stuff, right? In the beginning, that's like the first line of Genesis, Wacom was founded in 1983. So let's just get that on the timeline real quick, right? Founded in 1983 by this guy, which is Azuma Murakami. Okay, founder and first managing director. So already, Azuma Murakami, if I'm mispronouncing that, please, someone let me know. What was it again? I'm not sure why this says Azuma Murakami, but the title of the article is Higashi Murakami. Not entirely clear what's going on there. I'll assume that one is maybe his formal name. Oh, I hate when they do this. Okay, paste, whatever. Okay, great. Founded 1983. Okay. So at that time, I'm 12 years old. Okay, I'm 12 years old as we're talking about. Now, there's no avoiding this, so let's just get it right out of the way because the weird topic is going to come up. And I'm not going to discuss the weird topic because I think it could be sensitive. Azuma Murakami, founder and first managing director of Wacom, while working at Sekai Nippo, a newspaper affiliated with the Unification Church. Okay? So, Unification Church is its own controversial topic. It is littered throughout this article. Okay? There's just a lot of things happening with it. And I know it's surprising, but I don't want to get into that. I want to focus on the tech and the people without getting into this kind of strange topic. And those of you who understand what Unification Church is, which I really don't, I just have a very historical memory of them because they were in the U.S. news for a while. I won't discuss how they were. I know it sounds so mysterious. I don't mean to be mysterious. I just feel like if I talk about this topic, it's going to take away from the thing we're interested in, which is the drawing and the tablets. Okay? So, I'll try to minimize any kind of mention of that topic. Okay, so he's dissatisfied with the digitizer called a cursor used to select characters from this is so interesting, right? From a cursor used to select characters from a typesetting machine, a character dial heading board. Now, this is weird. What are they talking about? What kind of device is it that they're referring to? Because we've been talking about drawing tablets, and now suddenly the word typesetting machine is getting introduced. By the way, is there any way for me to hide this stupid thing here? There we go. And let me zoom in on this. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're talking about where are we at? The beginning. Sorry, where's the? I'm skipping around so much. I don't know where the heck we went. Here we go, at the beginning. Okay. And let's just see. Now it's the digitizer was shaped like a lens cursor. Well, you're going to see examples of these things, so don't worry. So don't worry. Okay. So there's some kind of thing relating to typesetting, which involves a cursor, and notice it says it was connected to the device by a cord, making it very difficult to use. So Murakami decides to make a cordless digitizer, okay? And you'll see that this word digitizer is the word that is used. In fact, Wacom described their products as digitizers for quite a while, okay? And this Murakami, look at this, he originally studied geomagnetism. This is actually important because he understands something about electromagnetism, which is of course critical to how Wacom technology works, right? So I'm skipping over this part about seeking investment from the Unification Church, right? And Happy World, whatever the heck that is, right? So it looks like he got some investment, and he appointed somebody as the first president of Wacom, and with his colleagues, Murakami quit his job and founded Wacom, okay? And he developed the first cordless lens cursor and later a pen type device. And we're going to explore what those are in a little bit, okay? But the key thing is that this history of Wacom actually comes from the fact that they had a corded pen, meaning there was a cable from the pen, and it had to deal with like something like a keyboard, okay, or a typesetting machine where you had to select things, and that was irritating. So can we make it cordless? That's the origin of Wacom, okay? So in 1984, the world's first cordless digitizer, the WT series, okay? So let's just write this down. So this is January 1984. So this is important information. World's first cordless digitizer. Okay. Now, just to give you a sense of what was existing in the world, first of all, I don't think I'd ever even seen the idea of a cord, like a digitizer, meaning the pen does not have a cord. Okay. Let me show you an actual thing I used as a young child, and I think in the 80s, it was called a koala pad. Koala pad. I just want to show it to you so you understand what these devices are like. Okay. Now this one, technically the pen is not corded, but it doesn't work the way an EMR tablet does. I actually had this, okay? This koala pad, okay? Very primitive. Like the resolution here is, you know how a Wacom has 5,080 lines per inch? This had a total of like 256 by 256 points, okay? And the tablet itself sensed that you were touching. I don't think there was any pressure. By the way, this was the painting app. Can you see this? So this is what a normal person might have been used to. It was technically cordless, but didn't work like the way you'd expect, right? Not like a modern tablet. And let's see if we can, we'll show other examples in a second. Where are we back here? Okay. So this is the WT series, okay? And if you remember on one of my streams, we actually did a section on, I did like the history of Wacom tablets, and I actually brought up now I brought up an SD series, but I didn't show you a WT. It's very rare. Cube has one, and I'm going to show you some pictures from it. Okay, this is the first. Now, I want to be clear. I want to clarify something for you. Even though this is what you and I would consider the first Wacom tablet, it is not a tablet you would want to use. Okay, it has all sorts of strange things because of its background for digitization. And you're probably wondering why that I use that word. Why did I emphasize the word digitization? That's a different task from drawing. A lot of us have never really seen someone use a digitizer. That word lives on in drawing tablets, but digitizing and who does it and why they do it, it's a different world from our world. And we're gonna see a video of digitizing later on. So here's some differences about the WT. Here's actually look for the tablet here, right? So it's interesting because this is 1980, what was it, 1984, okay? So now you're looking 42 years ago. You see 4 buttons. Looks like there might be LED lights here. This is the WT460M. And let's take a look at some more pictures here. It comes with this really interesting looking pen in this case. These pictures came from Cube, by the way. Okay. Now there's some things, and there's several models here, but this is the first one, the WT460M. So here's some strange things about it, right? Most of those models did not come with a pen. They came with like a mouse or a puck. Okay. The WT460 came with a pen, and Cube told me he thinks that one of the other models might have come with a pen. Okay. It's not entirely clear that pen could be used by all the other models, even if they didn't come with it. If you're talking about the koala pad, I wouldn't call that a scam. It's just, that was a very primitive consumer tech intended for kids. There were professional digitizers, which I'm going to show you. I am going to show you. And those were real. Those are very important devices, okay? We just don't use tablets today like digitizing people use tablets. It's very different. But yeah, it's hinted at here in this comment. These tablets were not intended for drawing. They were used for digitizing and things like architecture diagrams, not for painting. They're not creative tasks, right? Another thing that Cube revealed to me, this pen does not have pressure levels. Like it's either 0 or 1. So I guess you could say there are 2 pressure levels. There's not 4 or 8 or 16 or 1,000 or 8,000. There's just 2, on or off, okay? And the way this pen detects pressure, this is not a EMR pen the way we know it today, right? A modern EMR pen has a little pressure sensor inside. The nib hits that, you know, and that pressure from the nib goes into that. It's a piezoelectric sensor. That's not what's happening here. This pen has essentially a button inside that the nib hits, and that button is just on/off, pressure or no pressure, right? So this is the first product that has the shape of a tablet, and Cube has it. This is his personal model. These are very rare on eBay. I think Cube was looking for this for ages and finally found one. In relatively good condition. I'm not sure if it works or if he's tried yet. But this is not, again, this is going to show you the first device they made, which corresponds to what we visually see as a drawing tablet. But the first real drawing tablet is yet to come. Okay, and we'll get there. Okay. And you'll see how Wacom's business changed. We're going to see why Wacom got popular. Okay, so this is the WT series was released. Sales were initially poor, but sales picked up when the company developed an ECAD application for professional electrical design and digitizers. So this is the first hint about the different scenario these things are used for. Because this is for like CAD and people who are like doing like, I guess, I don't know exactly what electrical design here is, but this is not typical drawing stuff. Another thing which is going to show up later is this comment here is subtle, but it will show up later. Sales picked up when the company developed the ECAD application, right? And sold them as a set with the digitizer. So what does this say? What does this tell you? The application, meaning the application drove purchase of the device. You're going to see this pop up at least one more time in this stream, okay? Now, the WT460M released in actually, this date says the WT series started in 1984. WT series. And then it says in January 1986, WT460M. Okay. Let's get back here. January 1986. This was the first one with a cordless pen. So this is the one with the pen, right? First with, it looks like the other ones had the puck on the mouse. Okay. And I'll just put a note here. You know, this WT460M was for digitizing, not for drawing. Oh, Shadow Link Master. There used to be a website that had an archive of all previous Wacom tablets across the years. Oh gosh, do you still have the URL, even if it's not working? I'd like to see it. Let's see. About 30 years ago, the first pen tablet I used was made by Wacom, but Intuos hadn't been around yet. It only had 256 pressures. I think we're going to get to that very soon. Oh, thank you, Shadow Link Master. I appreciate the comment. So, the WT series used a magneto-restrictive, I have no idea what that means, and the pen was rechargeable, okay? Do you see how different the pen is from today's pens? Okay, the WT series had several drawbacks as CAD digitizer, including the risk of damaging floppy disk due to the magnet of the pen. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'll show you a picture, because some of you are pretty young, or you like me, you might have forgotten what the world was like 40 years ago. Okay, so back then, we had these discs, floppy disks, okay? And these are about 5.5 inches, like in the size. And they're floppy, like they're just, you can like wave them, right? And so there's like a sheet of plastic, I guess. In the middle there's like this magnetic, or some kind of material that's magnetic or magnetizable that spins. And when it spins, you can hear it spin, you put it in a drive. But these things were sensitive to magnetic effects. So like if you brought a magnet near them, it would damage the data. Okay. Let's see. It was something like Wacom discontinued. It had a code.uk. Okay, interesting. I'll do a little bit of sleuthing. Maybe I can find something. At least having the domain name maybe means someone has archived something. Okay. So this is another. The reason I bring this up is it tells us another thing about this technology, which is its disadvantage compared to what we have today. Okay. We don't use these floppy disks anymore. And I don't think we have no fear of an EMR pen doing anything weird, you know. Let's see. And the inconsistent properties of the amorphous alloy. I don't know where this alloy is exactly. Meant it could not be used in sizes larger than A2. A CAD digitizer. Now we're getting to what these digitizer things do. Is a device that allows you to spread a paper design drawing on a tablet, trace it with a pen, and digitize it. That means convert it to points. And the lineup requires a maximum of A0 size. In 1986, the general use of digitized tablets was commercial CAD, and Wacom tablets were not originally developed as drawing tools. So a long way around to get to the point I made. This was not drawing tools. So a lot of us have never seen an actual digitizer. Okay, so I'm gonna find a digitizer. Hang on. A video showing one, just so you can see how crazy it was. Digitizer CAD. I don't know if they're still used. I assume they are. There's a guy has a video here. Yeah, this guy. So CalComp was one of the big companies that did it. So we're just gonna watch this video in its full. It's only like 2.5 minutes. Okay. Let's just see if I can get the. Let me make sure the. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn on the volume here. I'm gonna turn off my music, and we're gonna watch this video just so you can see what it's like. Okay.
Hi, my name is John Walsh with the Logic Group, and I love Jatico digitizing tablets.
Oops.
I've been selling them for.
Why is that not coming through here? Let's try this again. I want to make sure I am understanding why the audio is not being sent to you. Give me a second. Speakers. That is correct. Let's try this again.
Over 30 years, I'm one of their biggest.
Oh, I see. It is getting sent to you. Sorry. I thought it was not getting to you. It was just on a different channel. Okay, here we go.
Hi, my name is John Walsh with the Logic Group,
oh,
and I love Jatico digitizing.
I am totally being silly with you right now. Okay, here we go. Finally, attempt number 7 at playing this video.
Hi, my name is John Walsh with the Logic Group, and I love Jatico digitizing tablets. I've been selling them for over 30 years. I'm one of their biggest dealers, and I've been writing software solutions for manufacturing, for petroleum, for takeoffs. Jatico digitizers are great digitizers, and it is a great company. They make 2 different hardboard digitizers.
Okay, notice how big this thing is. This is bigger than anything you would have ever used in life. Okay. What else do you see on the digitizer? You see I forgot what they actually call this, but it's like it's a cursor or a puck or something, and then of course here's the pen, and notice that cord is there. Again, notice the size of this, and there's more size surprises coming.
The CalComp Drawing Board 6 and the Jatico Super L6. When you digitize a point on the digitizing tablet, it sends a very accurate XY point to the computer. Then the software uses those points. You can use a corded or cordless pen stylus as a tip on the pen, side buttons, digitize point to point, or hold a button and trace. They also make a corded or cordless cursor. It has different buttons, push a button, and has the cross-haired cursor for tracing. They also make the roll-up digitizer. It's a portable digitizer. You can roll it up and take it with you. You could take it.
Now this is interesting, right? This is a much bigger one, and it actually is flexible. It rolls up, and I thought that was amazing.
to a job site, or you can take it home at night. There are hundreds of different digitizing programs that use Jatico digitizers. They've been selling them for many years, and they are a very good product. If you have questions about a Jatico product, or if you have questions how a Jatico digitizer can help you in your business, please contact me at this contact information.
Okay, so you saw a really interesting example of how big. Actually, you know what? I just realized that wasn't the actual full video I wanted. Let me see if I can find. It's the same guy. There's another surprise in this video. Let me see if I can find it here. Because there's something that you, it was not obvious what was going on in that video. Okay, I'm just going to show you this screenshot. I'm going to open this one up.
Let's create
just to show you how these things are actually used. So they'll have some big physical thing, and they're trying to capture all the points so they can trace out this shape, which is physical, and get it into the computer. Okay, so they tap the pen along the points. Now, some people, so that's how we would do it. We think about tapping the pen, but I believe also you could hold down a button, and that would count as, oh, get this point, either continuously or one by one. So it's a very different way of using a pen, and some people prefer to apparently click the button instead of just using pressure, okay? And again, you see how big this thing is. Like, this is a big digitizer. Now, in that last video, I'm trying to find the same guy again, because he did make a longer video. If I can find him. Because there is a surprise. There is a surprise. Okay, hang on. Let's just go back here. I'll just show you the surprise. Okay.
For petroleum, for takeoff.
Do you see that he's on a desk here? This blue desk? That desk is actually about twice as wide as you see. The surprise is that blue desk is a digitizer. Right? So it's, I don't know, I'm just guessing the dimensions. It looks like it's 4 feet up and down by like 6 or 7 feet across. That's a big digitizer. We just don't have that in the drawing world, okay? And again, you see what these apps are really meant for. Not for drawing, but for getting these points, okay? Sorry to stress that. I just want to make sure that was really clear that Wacom was in this game when they started, not in the art game, okay? Okay, next. 1987. This is where things pop off. Okay, 1987, they released the SD series. Let's just write that down. 1987, SD series. And I believe SD stands for Super Digitizer. The whole world can be your digitizer if you think large enough. That is true, Fluffy Tube Socks. That is true. Okay, and I'll put my music back on since I'm done with the video. There we go. And let me turn it down in my ears a little bit. Okay. Now the language here is, again, this language is translated, but it says electromagnetic give and receive pen technology. And there's a comment about the Unification Church, but since give and receive is a term used by the Unification Church, Wacom has generally referred to the electromagnetic induction pen technology since the 2000s, when Wacom severed ties with the Unification Church. So I want to talk about this give and receive thing, because the not as it relates to the Unification Church, but as it relates to Wacom. So remember how modern, actually let me back up for a second. All Wacom tablets that you own have ever used where you were creatively drawing are based on the SD series. And Wacom in their blog post actually calls this like the grandfather of all modern Wacom tablets. Okay. Hi, Max Mad. Good to see you. Good to see you. So this is where it all begins. This is where it all begins, the SD series. Okay. And the give and receive, I think what that's relating to is how EMR works, because the tablet gives power to the pen. That's the give. The pen uses that power to just do a little bit of processing and sends a signal back. That's the, this give and receive, right? The tablet receives a signal back. So I think that's what this phrase is referring to. What is inducting here, right? When that signal is generated on the tablet in the coil, what they call the coils, the grid, it's inducing a current in the pen. That's the induction part, electromagnetic induction. Okay, so that's the core technology. The resonance part is that there's a circuit in the pen, which, I don't know how to explain this to you, but the current's like going back and forth like really fast. That's the resonant part, okay? It doesn't really change anything about how you and I use the tablet. It's just like it's a detail about the tech itself. Okay, so this is when the pen became cordless and battery free. Hi, Drinkwater, good to see you. Thanks for joining us, right? So eliminating the drawbacks of the I think they mean WT series, not WD. I think that may be a mistake in the Wikipedia article. So I'm going to copy this text and I'm going to just paste it in here. Okay. So I think there's an error in the Japanese Wikipedia article. Okay. The pen became cordless and battery-free, eliminating the drawbacks of the WT series. Wacom endorsed the electronic stationery concept proposed by Ken Sakamura as part of the Tron project, a national policy promoted by the Ministry of Industrial Trade and Industry, Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications, and Ministry of Education. This is a weird. Okay, so I was, I was vaguely aware of the Tron project. Okay, in the United States, we would hear about it. I think, and I was young when I heard about it. The way it was presented to us is Japan was having a national effort, which is what it says here in the Wikipedia article, to build like the next generation of like computers. And in fact, they may have even used phrases like, I don't know if they used AI. In my head they did, but I'm not sure they literally did that. But I think the way it was presented to me was, oh wow, Japan as a country is doing something very dramatic, almost like the United States had, their Apollo missions to the moon. This was this dramatic. Now, whether it was or not, I don't know, but we always wondered what was this Tron project, right? And we didn't hear much about it. Just little dribs and drabs of information would come. I'm going to click on it just so we understand a little bit more about it. So Tron is an acronym for the Real-Time Operating System Nucleus. I didn't know that. And it looks like it starts with this real-time operating system for embedded systems. And I'm not going to read through all this, but it seems like it had the idea that computing would be ubiquitous, right? Like it would compute would be part of all sorts of devices like, washing machines and things like that. So, and look, they're even showing like cameras and things. I think there is in a car, right? And this keyboard, we'll talk about this keyboard. This is the Tron keyboard TK1, released in 1991. Now notice what it says here. Was completed by Personal Media Corporation based on a prototype made by Oki Electric in 1986. It came with a Wacom pen tablet and had a hole for an electronic pen. So I think this is the, quote, digitizer that was sensitive to the pen. Now, if you look closely at this, there are some, Latin letters here, but also lots of characters. I don't know. I don't know which kind of figures these are in Japanese, but clearly not a typical keyboard that you'd be used to in Europe or the US. I wouldn't know how to use this, but we can see some familiar aspects, something that looks like a shift key, a caps key, and like, up, down, left, right. And of course, numbers and some letters. Though it's a very different arrangement, of course. And a little digitizer here. This is where I think the pen went. And Wacom made the digitizer and the pen that goes with this. That's interesting, right? We've never really thought about this. So this is not really a CAD digitizer. It was like another way of interacting with a computer in a very, very unusual way if we think about how it's done today. Okay, so I'll go back out of the Tron project. Okay, I'm gonna need some water, so give me just a minute. I'll be right back, okay? Okay, I am back with my water and tablet juice, or Red Bull, sugar-free Red Bull. We have a lot more. Thanks for joining us, James, Chasing Sunrises. We have a lot more. We just got started, honestly. Drink water. Is that digitizer like 10 by 10 or something resolution? The Koala Pad was like 256 by 256. Uria says, this makes me think about what a retro-themed sleeper modern tablet would look like, since the retro sleeper PC cases. That's right, that's right. I have to admit, some of these older Wacoms look cool. The WT series looks cool. The SD series actually looks cool too. I have been thinking of a compact, affordable, portable drawing setup that can handle desktop, Krita, Clip, Photoshop for art, laptop plus moving. Makes sense? It does make sense, Drinkwater. Let me give you an alternative to the laptop. Think about a small mini PC. It'll cost a lot less. You'll get more memory, more storage, more power probably. You won't, and it's almost exactly as portable. That's what I'm recommending for people instead of like a very expensive laptop. Okay, so Wacom produced this pressure-sensitive pen in 1984. Okay, so let's just write that down. This article is a little out of order. 1984. Wacom requested to create pen for Tron keyboard. I love that they called it Tron. That's one of my favorite movies. Let's get back here. Okay. The pen was announced in October. Okay, that pen was announced in October '87. So it looks like it took them a couple of years to develop this. Pen was announced in 1987. That shows you this tech takes a while. Drinkwater, yeah, I wish they did. I wish they did in fact come with batteries. Let's see. The pen was announced. The SD series offered an optional pen with pressure sensitivity in addition to the standard pen. Okay, so that was interesting. I didn't realize that. So SD series had an optional pen with pressure. So obviously not all of the SD series pens had pressure. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. I do remember I saw multiple SD series pens listed, but I didn't realize some of them did not have pressure. Hi, Pumpkin Cat. Good to see you. So Sakamura, who led the Tron project, says he advocated that instead of a mouse, computers should use things similar to everyday stationery, electronic stationery. So that's why I guess there was a fixation on the pens. Yes, Pumpkin Cat. Wacom lore stream. Deep dive. Deep dive. So, here's another topic. However, in the Tron project, he intended to use Wacom's electronic pen not only as a pointing device, meaning to point, like click on things, but also to enable handwritten input of characters, which just goes to show you the idea that computers would recognize handwriting is really, it is ancient that they would be able to do this. They only recently, I think, got good at it. But the idea that they would be doing it was very important. Okay. In the 1990s, sorry, throat is, I think I swallowed something. In the 1990s, I'm sorry, pen input computers became popular with the release of operating systems such as Pen.OS. Pen.OS, Windows for pen computing. I joined Microsoft in 1996, and even then, I remember people talking about pens getting to be. They saw it was going to be important as well. When Wacom released the first, I just swallowed something. It went down the wrong way. Wacom released the first Japanese-made pen into computer, the Pen Top. I didn't know they made a computer. So let's not say that. first Japanese made? I had no idea they built something like that. So that's a new one. That's called the Pentop. The Pentop. Pentop. Okay. At the time, pen computers were very poor at recognizing handwritten letter characters. Yeah, I remember that. And pen input computers were prototyping during the boom, did not become commonplace. The electronic pen in the Tron project was not considered a drawing tool, but merely a replacement for the mouse or keyboard. That's actually important, right? It just goes to show you that, again, people didn't think about the artistic part about this. And you'll see how it comes about. You will see. However, the major advantage of an electromagnetic induction system, patented by Wacom, was that the pen sensor was placed behind the LCD screen rather than on the surface. That makes it easy to see the LCD, obviously. And eventually, Wacom's first pen tablet, this means, actually, let me back up. This is phrased kind of oddly compared to modern terminology. This is phrased as pen tablet. This really should be pen display. Another thing, sorry. Another thing you'll see is sometimes when you get these articles translated from Japanese, they'll call pen displays liquid tablets, something like liquid tablets. And I asked somebody, why are they called liquid tablets or liquid displays? And they said, oh, that's the translation of, LCD, like liquid crystal display. So somehow that translation sort of keeps it as liquid. So it's a bit confusing in some of the translated articles, but that's what it means, just a pen display. So yeah, 2001 was the first one. Yeah, Yuri, I swallowed something. I'm not sick or anything. It's irritating my throat. It's coughing. It's the Red Bull, by the way, that I swallowed incorrectly. Okay, so this is an interesting comment. At the time, the primary use of pen tablets was for CAD, but Wacom's cordless pen feature offered no advantage for this purpose. So even though people had now cordless digitizer, it wasn't much of an advantage because people weren't really drawing, right? So that's an important thing to note. Let's see, Nick is here. The Big Tablet Mafia doesn't want you to tell their story. Oh yeah, Max Mad. I'm feeling it. It's very acidic. I can feel that. It's getting better. It's getting better. Paleontology roots of tablets. T-Rex had very small arms, so Wacom entered the market back then with pen input technology. There were several strong competitors overseas. Wacom products were roughly twice as expensive as competitors. Hey, that's an old story for us, right? We know they've been priced at a premium. So it's interesting that this has been true for quite a while. Meaning the company barely captured market share overseas. Now this is where... So okay, let's set the stage. Wacom's not having that much success, right? Their tech is not an advantage for digitizing. They're more expensive, right? But magic happened. Magic happened. 1990, a little company called Disney. I like how they say a major overseas. This is just an American thinking it's funny. Let me just read the sentence. However, in 1990, Disney, comma, a major overseas animation studio, comma, See, for someone in the U.S., you never have to say Disney, an animation studio. Disney is omnipresent in life, so you never have to explain what it is. It is Disney, and everyone knows what Disney is. But of course, this is the Japanese article, so it's interesting to see this perspective where they have to explain, oh, Disney is an animation studio. That's how they explain it. I think it's great. Disney recognized pressure-sensitive. They recognized the pressure-sensitive features of the SD series, and they used them in the production of Beauty and the Beast. Now, I believe it's only one scene, by the way. We'll see if we can find out more information about this. I think it's just one scene there. Let's see if we can find it out. Let's see. Disney, Wacom, Beauty and the Beast. Oh, Beauty and the Beast. There's gotta be... There's an article here for Wacom history. Now I'm sneezing. Now the pollen's in the air. The mouse is always watching, Fluffy Tube Sock says. It is true. It is true. Oh. Let's see if we can find more information. This was, by the way, did everyone know Apple had a tablet? This is a rebranded of another tablet, but look again. You can see the cord. Who knows? Maybe Apple will introduce a tablet one day. Koala pad. This is Wacom's diagram. I recognize it from the patents. Okay. I'm going to keep a link to this thing here because it's actually interesting. I am working my own tablet history document, by the way. I started on it last year, but I never really got too far with it. But actually, I'm going to show it to you, even though it's not done. It's under... I think it's under reference? No, it's under MISC. History of Drawing Tablets, okay? And my first chapter is called Antiquity, okay? And this is the first drawing tablet, by the way. This is this is a recreation of like a 2,000-year-old one. So this is like wood. This surface is wax. And the stylus, it is called a stylus. It carves into the wax, and you erase it by heating the wax or pushing it to erase. And here's an now that's what's funny. And by the way, notice that it's two tablets with a little cords, right? Making them hinge together. So if you look at it from the side, you would be very confused that this 2,000-year-old art from Greece looks like this guy is using a Microsoft Surface or something. You know what I'm saying? It looks like he's using a modern tablet or a laptop. It's not. It's one of these devices. Right? And here's another stylus. So I am writing an article. Well, I am writing my history of drawing tablets, but I'm starting from ancient times. Okay? It's a PC, Pumpkin Cat says. Okay. So, they did Beauty and the Beast. Wacom thus managed to capture a small share in the niche drawing category. So this is important because, again, most people are just using this for CAD, right? And at this moment, 1991, people aren't drawing on their computers. Like, you know, people like us didn't exist, right? People in their homes drawing. It just didn't have... I mean, we existed in the sense that I had software on my, Atari where I drew with a joystick. Have you ever tried drawing with a mouse? You know how much that sucks? Try drawing art with a joystick where you have to move a 1-pixel pointer up and down bit by bit. That's drawn. Oh, by the way, Nick says, I have a tablet question. Am I the only one struggling with double-clicking with pen when I grab and try to double-click on it? Yeah, I can't do it either. That's because if you try to click twice, your second click is often off. It's always, at least for me, it's displaced by a little bit, so it doesn't register correctly. What I do is I just change my upper button to be a double click. So I don't double click like this, I just click the upper button for double click. It's a classic problem, Nick. Classic. I think Windows does make some allowance for it. So like if the second click is not exactly in the same place, it's like a little more tolerant, but it has never worked well for me. Okay, 1992, the SD series were compatible with famous drawing software for the Sharp. I never used these look like Japanese hardware, so I never had access to this, and I don't know what software they're talking about. It says was used by ordinary Japanese artists at the time. I don't know what those are. However, the standard price for even the cheapest model, the SD510C, was quite high at 100,000 yen. And the computer was 400,000 yen, including the monitor. So it only had a small number. So very expensive. Yeah, I'm not sure, Nick. I've never, it's been a long time since I've tried that setting. So I do want to show you the SD series because I do have it. Where is it? SD. I have photos of the SD. I showed it on stream actually. I have notes on the 510. So this is the grandfather, the SD series, but this is the 510C. This is what a Wacom tablet looked like. Works like you'd expect. Now there's some weird things here I want to explain. First of all, I've physically touched this tablet. It feels good. It's a little heavier than you'd guess. Like it's got like, it's heavy. No, not heavy, but it's like, it's not as light as like what you'd expect. It's also got this tablet processor box. We'll talk about that. So you have to have this box attached to the tablet, and there's another cord that goes from the box to the computer. Okay, but other than that, it looks the only thing unusual about it physically is the cord is attached. But it looks good. It feels good. Like you would not, if Wacom released a tablet that had this shape, you'd be like totally cool with it. Okay, so let's take a look at the tablet processor. So you're probably wondering why it's needed. Okay, so it's actually needed because not all the SD tablets are like this, but this one's thin. The other ones are really thick. Now, why are they really thick? Because they back then electronics were not as miniaturized as they are today. So to give you a thin tablet, they took the electronics, the brains, and they put it in the tablet processor. Okay? And this processor, did all the things that your firmware does today. Okay? So we don't need a simple tablet processor. Personally, I think it's cool. I want to have a tablet processor. I want knob to change my pressure curve. Okay? I want like switches to switch between pressure curves. Okay? I want like an LCD, an OLED display that shows the pressure curve and all sorts of stats about how I'm using the pen. That would be so cool. Like you'd feel powerful. So this is how it all gets set up, right? Tablet, processor, and then to your computer. And here's one of the floppy disks. SD stands for Super Digitizer again. So it is really cool, by the way. It is really cool. Even the pen looks cool. So let's get back to, but still expensive. There was a recession in 1991. I'm just skipping over the boring parts. While its competitors focused on large digitizer for CAD, Wacom had been ahead of its rivals and focused on small pen tablets for drawing. That's interesting. This is actually a really interesting detail. So I'm going to copy this and put it in my notes. That's 1991. Recession. I assume that was a recession in Japan, because we didn't have one in 1991 that I remember. Then we have, so I don't think I ever heard of anyone having the SD series. Okay, and by the way, Wacom marketed the SD series as a digitizer. They don't talk about it as a drawing tablet, even though that's what it was used for. They used some of this older terminology. Okay, 1992 is the UD series. Let's write that down. Wacom releases UD series. Now, I believe this series goes by different names, okay? So it can get a little confusing. And this is where I come into the picture. This is when I started. Well, in just a few years, you'll see. Let's see. Instead of the traditional mechanical switch, because the CAD users like clicking, the pen tip features a capacitor switch, which used a pressure sensor to change the capacitance of a capacitor in response to pen pressure. I think the key thing here is the summary of this is that it had better pressure handling, is I think the key thing. The SD series had a pen that supported pressure. This was a little bit better. Now, this is where I really come to the story in terms of personal experience. This made it ideal for drawing. Mark Zimmer, which is a name I remember, but probably you've not heard. Mark Zimmer made, and maybe one other guy I think, made this program called Painter. Okay, you know it today as Corel Painter, but I knew it as Fractal Design Painter. Okay, Fractal. Oh yeah, look, this actually came up with one of my pictures, by the way. This search on Google. Okay, because that's so. This is the software. It came in an actual paint can that had the smell of oil paint. So the discs and the manual are all in here. Okay, I actually bought this on eBay. It's a bit rusted out, but this is how it came to us. This is how it came to us, right? I bought, this is earlier than one version. I think I started with Painter 3.0, and we'll talk about the versions in a second. Okay, let me move this out of the way real quick. Okay. Someone liked my Moses tablet thing, by the way. It was very cool. It was very cool. I'm so... See, back then, you used to get, like, lots of stuff when you bought these things. And packaging was extra. I mean, when I say extra, I don't mean, like, you had extra packaging. It was just very extra. Like, outlandish, crazy, exaggerated. So this was cool as hell. There was nothing like it. And it smelled like oil paint. They added something like that, right? Yeah. Today's packaging is so uninspiring. Absolutely pumpkin cat. Okay. So I just need to back up a little bit. So I was in Vanderbilt University in 1994. Okay. Painter, the first Painter comes out in 1993. In 1994, now moving forward here. Yeah, this is probably when I got my first Wacom, 1994. In December 1994, Wacom released its first consumer tablet series, the ArtPad. So I'm at Vanderbilt, and I'm like, I drew, but I drew like with a mouse, which sucks. And I saw, back then we had magazines, printed things, and I saw, I somehow learned of this thing called Painter, okay? And then I saw, oh, there's this, a tablet, and it was the ArtPad, okay? So in 1995, I think I got the ArtPad. And the key thing here is that Mark Zimmer worked with Wacom, right? And this is an important point here. When Painter was released in 1993, almost all Painter buyers also purchased the UD series. It's another case where the application drove the purchase of the software. This is why I keep sometimes thinking that, you know, if a drawing tablet manufacturer wants people to use their tablet, they should build an app I don't know. Maybe no one wants to do it because it's expensive. But they should build an app that works really well with their tablet, right? And maybe does something special. Because if you have a really interesting app, people will use your tablet, right? Now, these days apps are pretty good. It's hard to differentiate a drawing app maybe, but you can see this effect, right? You found it, Nick? Good, fantastic, fantastic. It is a very nostalgic package indeed. Okay, so the art pad is what I had, and let me show you the art pad here. I think I have an art pad photo here. Let's take a look. Art pad. They had different names like Art Pad and Art Z. Let me just look up UD series. Ultra Pad. I don't think I have photos, but let's find one on the web. Wacom Art Pad. Yeah, this is like the one I have, right? This is what I saw in the store at Vanderbilt, the computer store at Vanderbilt. So you had a pen. Now this is a consumer tablet, by the way. Notice it has an eraser. It has the rocker switch for the buttons and a normal nib. For all intents and purposes, this works exactly like every Wacom tablet you've ever used. Okay? But interesting to note, we had an eraser back then in a consumer tablet. Pumpkin Cat says that's the fact right now with Procreate. Yes! I believe a lot of people get iPads because there's Procreate. And because everyone tells them that Procreate's the best thing ever, so they get an iPad, right? I don't know, on the drawing tablet subreddit, so many people say, "Oh, I don't care what drawing tablet, it just has to work with Procreate." Can I get a, and they're like, "Can I get a Wacom?" I go, "No, you have to get an iPad." So it is happening. That does actually happen. Apps can drive the purchase of hardware if your app is good enough, if your app is differentiated enough. Okay. 1994 art pad. Let me just copy that in here. Oops. Okay. At the time, around the time of transition from DOS to Windows, the company anticipated a general user would purchase it as a replacement for a mouse. I never thought about a tablet as a replacement for a mouse, though some people do that. The low price was a success thanks to Art School Dabbler. Oh, I forgot about this. Dabbler was a budget version of Painter, now known as Painter Essentials. I love Clip Studio. I love Clip Studio. By the way, I didn't buy Clip Studio for years. I wouldn't do it because the name was Manga Studio. And I was like, well, I don't do manga. So why would I buy Manga Studio? Then they changed the Clip Studio, and then I wouldn't buy it because I thought, oh, this is like for making clip art. But I don't make clip art, and I don't use clip art, so why would I buy it? It took forever for me to realize Clip Studio Paint was just a generic drawing program. And I don't even know how I learned about that. I think I just got desperate because I hated whatever app I was using at the time. So there's a lesson for everyone. Names mean things. Names mean things, okay? So Dabbler, which was a budget version of Painter. Look at this. Sales increased tenfold from the UD SD series in the first month of release. What do I tell you? Right? Allowing Wacom to rapidly expand its market share. Oops, I clicked. By 1995, Wacom had approximately 20% of the global market share for CAD, making the world's leading pen tablet. Again, driven by the availability of software, certain software for drawing. So this makes you realize one more thing, which is that the size of the market. CAD applications are for, I guess, engineers, and there's not that many people doing that job, but lots of people draw or want to draw, right? Clip Studio's brush setting, Pumpkin Cat says, is feeling is the best. But the UI is clunky even after cleaning it up for minimalism. You know, I will say this. I think Clip Studio... This may not make sense for those of you who don't write code. I think of Clip Studio Paint as like Git, like the source control system. Is it complex? Yes. But it's not just a painting app. It's like a tool box that you have to master. Like, you understand? It's like a very deep tool. And I feel, you feel good as you start mastering elements of it. So that's the way I feel about Git too. It's like, it's a complex tool, and you start appreciating it as you start mastering it. And it's enjoyable to know all its little details. 1996, Wacom released ArtPad 2, which had an eraser. So maybe this was the first time they had an eraser, the ArtPad 2. That's interesting. 1996. Yeah, I was wondering when the eraser was going to appear. Wacom's prototype electronic eraser was unveiled at the 1988. Koyo says, I agree. Think of CSP like Adobe After Effects. Yeah, I agree, Koyo. Like, I think it can be a simple app too, but like, if you want to really work if you really want to work the tool to its max, you gotta study it. And I'm so happy I decided to study it and tweak things, right? This is a good idea. You could try CSP in simple mode, then you could add palettes until you get comfortable. James Chasing Sunrises, does simple mode work on desktop app and like non-Android, non-iPad situations? Because I think that's why I've never tried it really on desktop, because I don't think you can get into simple mode on desktop. That may have changed. Okay. In October 1996, a new ArtPad was released. I didn't know. This is good context. I didn't understand why there are multiple ArtPads, so I'm going to paste this here as well. In 1998, the company posted its first loss since its founding. Interesting. I'm going to not worry too much about the business there. Until the early 1990s, Wacom's main business pillars were electrical design, CAD, ECAD. The agency business for database software called DB Magic. I had no idea they had database software. Pen Tablet, Electronic Devices Division, primarily sold in Japan as ECAD digitizers rather than drawing tablets. However, with the success of the ArtPad, sorry, you can't see what I'm seeing, I apologize. However, with the success of the ArtPad series, the company developing the drawing tablets market capturing over 30% of the global pen tablet market share. And then again, we get into the Unification Church stuff, which I'm going to ignore because it's just weird. Skipping that, it's all church related. Unification Church related. I'm trying to get to like the parts we're interested in, because this is all about just like this church stuff. Tax, okay, not gonna get into tax issues. This just goes on and on about this Unification Church. I'm skipping this part. You see, I told you this article was long. Okay, it's not on there. Okay. Thank you, Koya, for clarifying, and thanks. Okay. So, skipping over that stuff. 1997, Wacom gaining attention as Purukura brand, high quality stock for its graffiti function in the then popular Print Club. As Wacom showed signs of going public. Again, it's more Unification Church. This goes on and on about Unification Church. Yeah, Drinkwater, exactly. Like, there's like, that's why I didn't want to go deep into that topic, because like there's so much crazy stuff that is said in here. I mean, we're just going on and on about the Unification Church. Okay, now we get to stuff we care about. 1998, a new series of tablets for CG, I guess CG is computer graphics, called Wacom, first generation Intuos. So Intuos at the time, today Intuos means a consumer tablet. Back then it meant a professional tablet. So that's 1998 for Intuos. Actually, let's take a look at it. Was released as successor for the UD series. Previous products returned pen information. Oh yeah, this is cool. This is actually super important. So the SD series works like you'd expect, but it's all analog. There's no like digital stuff inside the pen. Okay, but the UD series puts an IC inside the pen, and it transmits the pressure information. It encodes it into the signal going back to the pen. Okay, now this is important, and I'll tell you how it relates to us in a second. And it says we also got increase from 256 pressure levels to 1024, and a lighter on-load. I think that means lower IAF. Okay. So let me write this down. Okay, so let me tell you why this matters. So this is the UD series. So when they say previous products, like let's say it's an SD series. But the Intuos, which is the UD series. Is that right, UD? No, not UD. We'll find out in a second. Had an IC. Okay, so the UD series was analog, and the reason that's important is I always talk about UD EMR pens, like the S pen and the CP913 pen, CP923 pen. Those use that old UD technology all the way back from Wacom. In fact, I believe I actually took the one of these older Wacom pens and used it with my Samsung. I'll double check on that in my stream. Okay, Koyo is providing some data here. On as in 1G on. It was a marketing term from Wacom for the one. Okay. Thank you. That helps add more sense to what this is saying. Thank you, Koyo. Now, 1999, Wacom releases Favo. I have not heard about Favo until just a couple of weeks ago. And I don't even know how I found out that this thing existed. I'd never heard of this thing. Let's just take a look and see it. Wacom Favo. Okay, yeah, here we look at this thing. First of all, what do you notice? You can tell which era of computing this turned up in because the rainbow colors, right? Let's take a look. Look at this, Favo, Wacom Favo. A Hello Kitty version. Okay? Back then, Wacom did stuff like this, right? They actually did like colors and creativity. Now we just get gray and black plastic. Okay, but they had some creativity back then. Which color would you pick? I would pick the red probably, or the purple. I'll try to find one of these. Let me put a note to myself. Note, get a Favo. Buy a Wacom Favo on eBay. To add to my collection. Let's see. Like the Intuos, these tablets, the Favo featured an IC, 5 to 11 levels of pressure sensitivity, but priced reasonably. Thanks to the success of the Intuos series, Wacom held a 50% share of global pen tablet market. So they're getting from like 20 to 30 now to 50. Doesn't it look cool, Pumpkin Cat? Right? But that's in Japan. In Japan, they had a 90% share in Japan. That's amazing. However, Wacom believed that overseas markets still had room for growth. They certainly did. And the Favo was targeted Windows amateur market, iMac users. Of course, iMacs are the ones with the colors, and the educational market. 2001 Cintiq, the first Cintiq. I didn't know this was the first Cintiq, by the way. So let's copy that. Oh, I see. This was the company's first liquid crystal tablet for consumers, having previously only offered liquid crystal tablets for business users. I think those business users were like maybe digital signatures and things like that. it was positioned as the company's third brand after Intuos and Favo. So in 2001, their brands were Intuos, Favo, and now Cintiq. And all this time, for years, I'd never even heard about Favo. But with a standard price, some of the Cintiq, with a standard price of 168,000 yen, 30,000 units worldwide sales, was not a product that all ordinary people would buy at the time. In 2002, Wacom Smart Scroll was released, a pioneer of the so-called left-hand device. I have no idea what this means. Never even heard of this. Wacom Smart Scroll. Wait till we get to the Wacom DJ mixer. That does exist, by the way. SS200 Wacom Smart Scroll, a Japan exclusive scrolling device. What? SS200. What the hell is this? Whoa! I have never seen this. Have you seen this? Has anyone seen this? Wacom Smart Scroll. Max Matt says, in Japan they have Hello Kitty bullet trains and they look great. It's crazy. Really? That's wild. What is that word that means like cute in Japanese? It starts with a K. K sound. Is that... Looks like Y2K Comstar. It does actually look like that. Kawaii? Is that what the word... I don't want to mispronounce words. Is it kawaii? Cute? Yeah, Koya, me too. I kind of like curious what this would work like, because it's got a trackball, a scroll wheel, and 8 buttons. Cute is kawaii. Okay. Thank you, Koya, for confirming that. I had no idea they made this. None. Okay, 2005. Okay, I got this one. I told you guys my story about this one. How disappointed I was. I spent $2,500 on this device. Okay? I bought it in 2007. And, within a couple of hours, I decided never to use it again. Because it was just too much for me. I tried it on stream, I think Friday or Saturday. And my opinion of it has softened. Because I'm more used to now how things work. I have more experience. Probably, I should have given it more of a chance, honestly. But I couldn't physically adjust to it. It would just hurt my lower back too much. Yeah, this was expensive. It says 3,500,000 yen. For me, it was $2,500 in the US. Bamboo series started. Oh, I see. I didn't know this. Bamboo is the successor to Favo. That's new. I gotta get a Favo tablet, don't I? By rebranding the entry-level model as product for home use rather than professional drawing tool, the company aimed to further expand its market, which already boasts 3 million users per year. That many Wacom users in 2007? The company also promoted Bamboo as being compatible with Windows Vista. Yeah, Vista is when you started seeing, because I was in Microsoft at this time. You started seeing every year, every release of Windows, you started seeing like they wanted to do more with the pen. Okay? And bad stuff happened. Like, for example, so there's devices like the Toshiba M200, but like it comes with a pen, and it knows it's a pen. It knows it's like a pen computer. But then like Windows started getting too smart, and so if you were drawing, you'd plug in a Wacom tablet. The Windows would detect that there's a pen a tablet, a digitizer, suddenly it would freak out and start saying, "Oh, you must be using a pen display or a pen computer. Let me enable handwriting recognition." And it really irritated me because all you want to do is draw, but it would just start doing all these other things. My Wacom 2S3 and 2S5 are still sleeping in the closet. Okay, so you have, oh, great. I love it when people tell me they have these older models. See, as I bought these older models, I gave them away or threw them away. I just dumped them, in the recycling thing. I wish I hadn't done that because I ended up rebuying all of them on eBay for more money, right? I would be surprised if there are 3 million Wacom users even today. Total market for drawing tablet is that big. Yeah, that number seems like a lot, right? Because most people don't draw. Just like most people listen to music, but they don't create music, right? And drawing is not. I think this is unfair, but drawing is not considered something. Most people think of drawing as something that is kind of either they can do it or they don't. Like they don't think of it as something they can learn. Whereas I believe anyone can learn to draw. They may not want to, but it is a teachable, learnable skill. Let's see. Back here. Max Mad says, in 2S5 is a great device, in my opinion. The grip pen is even better than Pro Pen 2. I do like the grip pen a lot. I do. Okay, right now I'm in love again. I fell in love again with the Pro Pen 2. But I go back and forth between grip pen, art pen, and Pro Pen 2. Like just right now in my Pro Pen 2 love phase. Around that time, tablet PC and transformer laptops with rotation screens and Wacom pens were quite popular. Okay, yeah, they were. Let me show you which one I had. Toshiba and Portage. This is what I had. Let's see if we can find an image of this. Right? I love this device. So the screen rotates, and you can fold it down to be a normal laptop, or fold it with the screen up, and it'll be like a Surface, right? I use this at work just at Microsoft so often. And I believe it had an EMR pen. I think it had a Wacom. Yeah, digitizer pen, Wacom. Yeah. I definitely remember this. I wonder what happened to it. Because I'd love to try to use it again, honestly. Last time I checked, it was running Windows XP. Let's see, Pumpkin Cat says, I recently got a grip handle for the Pro Pen 2, but the lack of buttons on the handle is kind of limiting. Love the ergonomic grip it has, though. I'm considering removing the buttons from my Pro Pen 3, just so I don't accidentally hit them. Okay, this is where it gets crazy. 2009. Wacom's Next Beat DJ equipment. Don't ask. How did they come up with this idea? Okay, I didn't believe it when I saw it. So let's take a look and make sure everyone sees this. Wacom Next Beat DJ. There's even a review of it. I want images, actually. Here we go. This is in their review. Wacom made this. Can you believe it? It even says, so the proof is, the picture errored out here. It says Wacom right there. Right? Next Beat. Hard to believe. Wacom made this. I'm not criticizing, it's just surprising. The brand's first product, the Next Beat 2000, leveraged touch sensor technology it cultivated to develop pen tablets and other devices. It was an ambitious product that allowed DJs to perform with just one device. High price led to poor sales. So it was a big loss. With only this one device, Wacom withdrew from the music industry in 2011. So they were there with one product for 2 or 3 years, and then they abandoned. Can't blame them. Okay. Since 2010, Wacom has expanded its line of LCD pen tablets. This is starting to get now where we start coming in, like all of us sort of know what's going on. Since 2010, Wacom expanded its lineup of pen displays. Highly rated by professionals, they were extremely expensive compared to competing products. Nothing has changed. Yeah, it seems like it was maybe the market wasn't ready for something that expensive. I'd agree with that comment. As a result, while they remain stable among creative users, entry-level users shift to other companies' products. I think that's what's happening now. And we'll talk more about it later, but Wacom's consumer offerings, I think, are suffering compared to what XP Pen and Huion are offering. Oh, look at this. In particular, Wacom has engaged in cannibalism. I'm not sure I'd use that phrase in this. I mean, it's a translation, so. With users switching to tablet PCs made by other companies that use Wacom technology. So you're talking about your Samsung Galaxy Book Pro, which uses S Pen? Yeah. Now, Samsung owns some percentage of Wacom, by the way, like 5%, a small amount. James Chasing Sunrise says, yeah, I think they priced themselves out of the music. Yeah, definitely. Cintiq 24 released in 2011, making it the largest screen size at the time and the highest resolution product at the time. Oh, it's just HD, by the way. HD back then. I'm gonna make a really pretty timeline with all this and add more. But it's good just to walk through this. The Cintiq Companion in 2013. I don't have a Cintiq Companion. Is it worth getting it? Just, for collection's sake? I don't know. It's like a plug into a Cintiq, right? So I need the Cintiq as well, if I understand correctly. Okay, 2016, rebranded the LCD pen tablet as the Cintiq Pro. Okay. The first budget-friendly tablet in 2019. So it's all going 2019 when we see a budget-friendly tablet. Oh, as a budget model, it's nearly twice the price of its competitors, despite having fewer features. Pretty harsh statement, but true. Meanwhile, Wacom's pen tablet brand was redesigned in 2013. Intuos and Bamboo were merged. I hated this change, by the way. I mean, I've adapted to it now, but I did not like it. I didn't like something that was like a consumer thing, like being called Intuos. Because to me, Intuos meant pro, right? I was like, to me, it damaged the pro. It damaged the brand a little bit to me. Okay, at the same time, Intuos Creative Stylus for iPad. Let's see, Green Blue Cloud says, try to find the Cintiq Companion Hybrid. I think it's one of the more interesting standalone tablets. Okay, I will check. That's an Android tablet, right? Let me put that in my notes here. Oh, look at this. I didn't quite understand this when I first heard about it. Let me paste it in. This is interesting. Intuos Creative Stylus was a pen device for iPad. It was expected to become Wacom's flagship product. Didn't know that, but was discontinued in 2015 when Apple released its own stylus, the Apple Pencil. Interesting. Very interesting. Has anyone used that device? Is it any good? And then they're talking about the Intuos 5 just being a slight rebranding over Intuos 4. Very little changes. Okay, here we talk about Samsung here. Until the 2000s, Wacom's main business was branded products business. So let me just explain what this means, because it may not be clear. Branded product means Wacom sells something with the word Wacom on it. That's the brand, okay? But then they have the technology solutions business, okay? Which gives digitizers for other people's devices, okay? Like Samsung, I guess, right? Wacom Feel It Technologies for the stylus. This is, I don't know why they call it this, but like I just think it's UDEMR. Wacom's pens have increasingly been adopted for other Android tablets as well. In the second half of 2010s, competition in the mid to low. This is where we start seeing Huion and XP Pen come in. In fact, XP Pen is mentioned right here. In the second half of 2010s, competition for the mid to low price range for pen tablet products intensified because of competing products such as the Apple Pencil, XP Pen, and of course Huion. Look at this. Wacom failed to strategically shift users from inexpensive pen tablets to expensive tablets, and the branded product business continues to suffer losses. Okay, I was talking to somebody. Here's what they told me. Okay, so we were talking about this very topic about the branded business and the technology solutions. I said, hey, I heard that like the technology solutions was like 30% of Wacom's like revenue. He goes, no, it's more like 70%. So apparently this is what someone said. Most of the money Wacom makes comes from technology they sell to other companies, right? And it doesn't go specifically saying numbers here, but it actually does say this, right? As the branded business declines, the technology solutions business has risen. Now this is just a timeline history, so I just want to share some thoughts here. This is kind of a summary of some of the things I told that person I was talking to. Number one, I think Wacom's had a great couple of years, actually, right? The Cintiq Pros they released, the 27, the 22, the 14, the 17, are really good. They're way too expensive, but that's fine. They're very good tablets. I don't like the fan, but that's my only real criticism of the device, is the fan, okay? So they're check mark for pros, okay? We saw this year the Cintiq 16 2025, Cintiq 24 and 24 Touch for 2025. Great tablets. Love those tablets, okay? They come with a great Pro Pen 3 and the screens look good. They have no fans. They look good. They're not heavy. Don't really have any complaints about those tablets, okay? They're good, solid tablets. I think they're priced well. They're not cheap, but as I've said many times, those products are why not pricing. Meaning, if you get a Huion for $1,000 at 24 inches, and then Wacom says, we have a Wacom device which is going to be $300 more. You get the best pen in the market, and you start thinking, well, why not just spend $300 more to get the Wacom? Okay, even if it does have lower resolution. At $2,500, you're like, I don't think so. But $300 more, you're like, why not? So I think that's a good thing. Where Wacom has problems now, it's in the consumer stuff. Wacom One. So it looks like they're getting rid of the One by Wacom, the CTL X72 series. The Wacom One pen displays they don't add a lot of value. They're not really that good because the pen is not that good. They don't have that great pressure that we're used to. And their pen tablet, the Wacom One pen tablets, have some problems, right? And they're in a pickle, as I said. They're in a really difficult situation because if they make those consumer tablets good, people will buy them instead of the Pro tablets. On the other hand, if they keep them where they are, Huion and XP Pen's tablets are already better than their Wacom consumer tablets. So that part of the market, I don't have access to sales numbers, but I think probably that's where this Huion and XP Pen are taking a lot of sales from Wacom in that consumer space. And what you'll discover is the consumer tablets are starting to get so good, you don't need to get a Pro tablet, okay? When Brad Coble reviewed the Canvas 22 Gen 3, I think it was him who said this, He said this Canvas 22 Gen 3 would have been considered a pro tablet 3 years ago. And I agree. In fact, I think even 2 years ago, you would have looked at that tablet and said that's a pro tablet. I think the trajectory is these consumer tablets are just going to remove a lot of desire to get a consumer Wacom for sure. They will continue to add features, right? You're seeing that with now these consumer tablets are getting from Huion. They're like, oh, we're going to make sure they're very well color calibrated, right? That's not something Wacom ones do. That's not something Wacom focuses on with Wacom ones. Grumpled says that makes sense. You lose like 90% of the hobbyist, beginner, general consumer market when you price so much higher than the competition. You do, right? And the consumer offerings they have the performance isn't great. So they're stuck. Either they lose, if they make the consumer better, they lose out on pro sales. What could they do? They could abandon the consumer market. That would be bad, right? So they're in a pickle. As we say. I'll give you some ideas, though. Okay, I'll give you some ideas. Here's an idea, just a brainstorm. And if you have brainstorm ideas, let me know. I really like the Moving Pad and the Moving Pad Pro. I really do. Those are amazing devices. That's another give Wacom a star for introducing those. Imagine this. Imagine that consumer Wacom tablets are like the next Cintiq. I'm just making things up, okay? I'm making things up. I just want to get your feedback. Imagine that we don't have Cintiqs anymore. Okay? Like in 2027, there's just no Cintiqs. It's all moving pads. And the moving pads can work as a Cintiq or work standalone. See that? It's changing the game a little bit, right? Like, think of it this way. It is kind of objectionable to pay $700 for the Wacom Movink 13, okay? Because it's just a pen display with an OLED screen. The Moving Pad Pro, how much does it cost? The Moving Pad Pro 14? Moving Pad Pro 14. Let me take a look here. Or 13, sorry. $900. It's a couple $100 more, but it's a standalone tablet with a high resolution screen, right? And it's standalone. Maybe the future of Wacom is consumer tablets are standalone Android devices that also work as pen displays. If they were able to offer that best in breed pen, which they can, and they are with the moving pads, I think a lot of people might go down that route. Right? Let's see, Drinkwater says, yeah, I thought about that too. The moment they had hardware in HDMI to a moving pad, it becomes the ultimate. Yes! Right? And I'm not saying make a 24-inch moving pad. 16? Think about that. Okay, let's just play this out a little bit, right? You're someone who's a student doing design or digital art, and you spend $1,000, I'm just making up a number, $1,500 on a Wacom, this hypothetical Wacom Moving Pad Pro 16. Okay? It has a super high, native resolution. It has very good battery life. It has the best pen on the market. It obviously works with touch. You can plug it into your school's computer if you want. It'll become a pen display like a Cintiq, or you can just use it wirelessly and draw, right? And I think it would be worth spending that, right? I think someone who's looking for, for their child, for their Christmas present, it's kind of enticing to get a standalone Moving Pad 11 for $450. So I guess what I'm saying is I could imagine a future where Wacom abandons consumer pen displays, uh, and just has moving pads. And frankly, I think, maybe even they just abandon consumer pen tablets. Look, I'm not saying this is the best idea, and I'm sure there are many reasons why it can't work, but I think they have to do something. And right now, the biggest winner for me is the moving pads. Okay? Because for whatever reason, we cannot get the Pro Pen 2 or Pro Pen 3 to work with a Samsung device. If that was the case, if the Pro Pen 2 were, okay, if that's the other option, let's try this on for size. Maybe Samsung could buy Wacom. And Samsung Galaxy Book Pro 6 or whatever, it lets you use the Pro Pen 2. I'd get that immediately, right? Because that's the best pen in the market with a pretty good tablet. So that's another option, right? And I wouldn't want to see the brand go away, but you could keep the brand even if Samsung owns it. Let's see. I think they can still replace the non-Pro Cintiq with the... Yes! Now, I don't know what to do with the 24-inch. Like, I don't think there's a place for a 24-inch Android tablet. Could be, right? But something's got to change, right? Something's got to change. Like the Bluetooth module used to be a separate thing, and the tablet processor before that. Now everything's like... Oh, good point, Drinkwater. You've good point. What if Apple buys Wacom Face? Well, despite the fact Apple actually had a drawing tablet, I don't know what would happen if they bought Wacom. I'm not sure it'd be a good thing for us. Like, I tolerate the Apple Pencil and how it feels to draw with. I don't like using it. Okay, I think they would get rid of something. And Apple will never make a creative device like a tablet as we know it, right? Like if you get a Wacom moving pad, its purpose is to draw with. An Apple iPad is not to draw with. Like, it does that also, but it's a more general purpose device. Does that make sense? Yeah, but I would cry if Apple bought Wacom. That would make me sad. I don't think any other company wants to get into the business, right? Because I don't think the market's that big for them. I don't think the market's that big. I don't study these things, so it's a tough place. Grumpled says, as someone who recently got into digital drawing, I felt that Wacom has been kind of skimping out compared to other tablet brands. What are you noticing, Grumpled? I think where I notice it is resolution. And for the consumer tablets, the IAF and maximum pressure of the pen. The CP923 and CP913 are not great pens. They're just okay, right? Frankly, I think I think they do damage to the brand. Like the Cintiq 16 and 24 don't even come with Pro Pen 3 adjustments. No cool pen case. Very extra nibs. By the way, Grumple, did you know you can buy the accessory kit now for those, at least? They used to be you couldn't get the grips anywhere and the weight thing, but now you can buy it. It's $30 US on Wacom's site. Carzy Cat says, recently decided to get a new tablet and I was surprised to see so many names of brands I'd never heard of. Yeah, it's actually it is crazy how many different brands we see out there. There's Artisul. I'm just randomly naming Tenmoon, Gaumon, Sense Labs, Zenx or Senx. Not Sense Labs. It's XENX. My advice, honestly, is stick to Huion and XP Pen and Wacom. Because that is... And the reason has nothing to do with tech, because Gaumon and Huion are from the same company. It's because you want to get a tablet where other people have the same tablet. Because when you have questions, you're gonna need their help to solve to get an answer. Vike, I forgot about Vike. And the other thing is, I see Wacom and XP Pen. They good or bad, they release a lot of products. So within 2 or 3 years, their lineup refreshes. That's a good thing because better stuff's always coming. It's also a bit scary because you can feel like you're getting outdated stuff too fast, like your stuff's becoming outdated. But then there's negatives for releasing on a slower schedule. Like Wacom, some of their tablets are so old that the technology has passed them by. Like if you look at the old Cintiq 16, it's like, and it's the old Cintiq 22, the screens had lots of parallax. The color was washed out. They were thick, and it took a long time then for them to update because they like to update every 7 years to a decade. Okay, I think I've covered it. We went through Wacom's history on Wikipedia. We discovered a lot, actually. Just to recap, we went through how they started and then sort of almost year by year what tablets were introduced. And we discovered all sorts of devices they made, like the Favo, the DJ thing, that we had no idea existed, right? And I'm going to try to turn this and document this into a more comprehensive, history of Wacom. And that way, we can have some basis in, remembering the past more clearly. Okay. How long have I been going for? Oops. Oh, wow. 2 hours, 15 minutes. Okay. With that, I'm going to end the stream. Everyone, thanks for showing up. Thanks for joining. I love having you here, answering and talking to you and seeing your questions. I will be streaming again soon. Okay? Everyone, have a great day. And again, thank you.